Welcome, Trojan fans. Thank you for taking the time to join us today for an update from Director of Athletics Brent Jones. We hope that you and your families are doing well during this time, that you're healthy and safe during this time. But first off, we had a chance to hear from Brent. And Brent, when you look back, what was a month ago now when cancellations first started popping up, college athletics came to a standstill there. What did that day look like from your perspective?
Well, let me first thank you for allowing me this opportunity to be able to speak to our fans and our donors, our students, our student athletes, our fan base. Before we go any further, we really need to say thank you to our medical community and the doctors, the nurses, the staff, and what they're doing to continue to fight this crisis and putting their lives literally on the line. So thank you for that. We greatly appreciate it. But really going back to what feels like almost 4 months ago was really 4.5 weeks ago. And that was a day that really possibly changed college athletics. And so with us having to cancel the Sun Belt Conference tournament, as all conferences tournaments were canceled. And then the NCAA came out later that day with canceling the men's and women's basketball tournaments, but as well as all spring sports. And so the Sun Belt Conference was part of that conversation, was part of that dialogue. I was there as well as Chancellor Hawkins. And so obviously it was the right decision. It was a very, very tough decision. But you always want to put your student athletes, your fans, health above everything else.
And when you look back over these past few weeks there, priorities have obviously changed, things have shifted there. What have been your main priorities these last few weeks as seasons were canceled and classes moved to online formats?
Really the biggest thing is making sure that communicating with our student athletes, communicating with our coaches, our assistant coaches, our staff, making sure that we're still operating at a full capacity, which we are. And so we all have tons and tons of things that we're working on, whether that be revenue models, budget models, whether that be projects, engaging with our fans. And I know we'll get into some of the things that we're doing right now to really engage and inform with our fans. But it's really how can we emerge from this even stronger as an athletic department, even stronger as a team, a program, and a university. And I feel that we're in a great situation now with our amazing staff, our student athletes, our coaches, as well as the leadership of this university. This is not foreign for Troy University. We are a pioneer of the online education distribution. We've done this for almost 20 years now. And I think it's really being able to show the strength of Troy University to be able to do this almost in about 4 or 5 days. You've seen some universities, it takes 2-3 weeks. Troy was able to literally almost flip a switch for the online education. So we're still plowing ahead, still looking at ways. We're excited and hopefully ready to get back when it's safe and healthy and we'll be able to.
Communication has obviously changed a lot here for everybody as we no longer really have the face-to-face interactions. We're seeing a lot more with Zoom, Skype, other formats such as that in terms of ways to stay in touch with individuals there. But when you look at communication with your coaches and your staff members, what does that look like? How often are you staying in touch, and how has that communication helped ease with this transitional phase for student athletes as well?
I'll tell you this, you really learn, you miss the personal interaction, the ability to walk down the hall to talk to someone. But I love communication. And to answer your question I'm communicating with our head coaches daily, sometimes hourly, via text messages. We have a weekly Zoom call that lasts upwards of over an hour. Before we had 3 or 4 conference calls, but Zoom calls, being able to look into someone's eyes, being able to see how they're doing, talk to them. We're doing that once a week. And then also with our department leaders, which make up almost 20 different people, having a Zoom call with them as well. And so we have an agenda. I personally am on probably 10 to 12 Zoom calls a week and maybe an additional 10 more conference calls. So a lot of my days are being caught up with whether that's Lead One, which is the FBS ADs Association, whether that be Sunbelt Conference, whether that be NCA Zoom calls, as well as conference calls, as well as getting together with friends and colleagues who are ADs, as well as our staff. And so meeting with our vendors, talking from IMG Learfield to Outfront Media to Adidas, to Sidearm, which is our website company, and really talking to our fans, talking to our student athletes, our coaches. Communication is key. And I'll be honest, it's a moving target right now. The NCAA is working on things. The Sun Belt Conference is working on it, as well as all the conference are. And so it's a moving target, but communication is the key. And it's vital during this times when you can't just walk down the hall and talk to someone to make sure that they're informed of what is going on.
While the academic structure has changed a little bit with now no longer having classes in the actual classroom this time here, how has that changed for coaches, for academic staff, as we make sure that our student athletes are doing well in the classroom and being ready to be eligible for fall season, spring seasons when those resume?
Kyle, that's probably the most paramount thing that we can do. I ask our coaches to do 4 things every single day, 4 things, and that is communicate directly to your student athletes, whether that be text, phone call, FaceTime, Skype, Zoom, whatever that is. You have to communicate to your student athletes daily. Number 2, the second biggest thing is we have to focus on our academics. APR is still in effect. GPA is still in effect. Every head coach now has become an academic coach, and really making sure that they are understanding that we have ways to help them. We have ways to help them with their classes, tutors, our academic staff as part of it, but really focusing on communicating directly to our student athletes, focusing on academics. The third piece of it is focusing on their mental health. How are they doing mentally? This is a trying time. You see it on social media all the times. I mean, this is something that our student athletes and our coaches have worked year round for, that they've dreamed of it. I'm a former college baseball player. I can only imagine having a season ripped away as part of that. And that's tough and through no fault of anyone's. This is what the situation deemed that was necessary. And so really asking those questions, how are they doing? How are they sleeping? How are they eating? And then the fourth part of it is, so we talked about the communication, talked about academics, mental health, the physical health. Do they have any symptoms? Are they feeling well? Are they getting exercise? Are they getting outside? Those type of things that we're really talking to our student athletes about. Next week, I'm going to go on a Zoom call with our SAT group, which I'm excited about. That's our student athlete leadership group there, representing each different sport as well as cheerleading. So I'm excited to really connect with them. But communication is key with our student athletes as well.
In this ever-evolving situation, we continue to have to come up with new ideas to keep moving forward. So when you look at this as an athletic department, what opportunities for growth do we have either in the midst of this or coming out of this situation?
I think we've all been tasked, and I think every athletic department at university is looking at is how can we better serve our student athletes? How can we better serve our fans? How can we better serve our donors? And my goal is as well as yours, Kyle. You've been tasked with this as well as a lot of other staff members. Is there's a lot of projects that we have out there that we can really get ahead of now, and that's what we're working on. I will tell you this: I let our staff knows this, our coaches know this, our student athletes, but our fans need to know this, that our staff is working. We're working remotely. You can see that through a lot of the social media endeavors that we're putting on, the digital efforts, the videos, those type of things. But, we owe it to our great university, to our great leadership, as well as to our great fan base to really emerge from this. How can we take this and emerge from this even stronger? And we're putting ideas and plans together to be able to do that whenever we can come back together, it's going to be a joyous occasion. And I'm really looking forward to the first time that I'm able to high five a head coach, a student athlete, to be able to give a big one of our big hugs to our amazing donors. I think everybody's missing that right now, and I know I sure am. And I can't wait to see everybody back. Who knows when that's going to come back? Obviously that will not be made necessarily by athletics as part of it. It's going to have to be deemed safe and fit to be able to come back. But we're really chomping at the bit whenever that can happen.
And talking about some other items from COVID-19, what are some of those hidden blessings that you have personally witnessed from this entire situation?
Well, I'll tell you this. One of the things is really being able to take a step back and see why we're in this. And we're in it for our student athletes. We're in it to support this great university. I knew this to begin with, but I am blessed to work with an amazing leadership team of the university led by our chancellor, Jack Hawkins Jr., and what he's been able to do for our university and continue to do for our university. And so to really be able to be side by side and as well as working with with our provost and our CFO and student athlete or student academic affairs all the way down. It's been a blessing to be able to work with all of our university staff for the betterment of Troy University. Hearing some of the stories of our student athletes and how much they miss being on campus, how much they miss being in Troy, how much they love their student athlete experience. We probably never would have heard about that if we didn't know. There's a lot of times you don't know what you have until you don't have it anymore. And so just to hear about how much they've enjoyed their student athlete experience, how much they enjoy the facilities, the campus, how much Troy University means to people. And this isn't just from our student athletes. This is from our donors. I'm contacting with our season ticket holders. I know there's a campaign that you put together, Kyle, that was wildly successful, where we had all of our staff members, from graduate assistants to assistant directors to everybody, including yourself. We wrote a handwritten letter to all of our season ticket holders and donors, thanking them for being part of it. Now's a time to really show your love for Troy University, and that's something that I'll never take for granted again.
Well, and speaking about our season ticket holders, our fans, and showing your love for Troy University, as a department, we're still open. We're fully functioning. However, we're operating remotely right now. But for our fans that are back home, how can they still be involved? How can they still support Troy athletics?
Season ticket holders are the lifeblood of our programs. Continue to donate whatever you can. I know everybody's going through different items right now, different phases of life. We'll get through this, and hopefully we'll have a football season and a volleyball season, a soccer season very soon. But continue to support Troy athletics. Continue to stay connected with us through our emails. We sending out one or two a week here to really stay a part of it. I really probably need to give our external operations staff a huge kudos for the work they've done, from Light It Blue to turning Veterans Memorial Stadium as well as Trojan Arena into blue, in support of the healthcare, from reading with the Trojans to the polls that we're doing, to the pictures, to the graphics, to the videos. It's just been simply outstanding. And I'll be honest, our NCAA compliance staff is working overtime. Our academic staff is working overtime. Our academic staff is having FaceTime calls as well as Zoom calls with head coaches and student athletes. That's simply outstanding as part of it. But getting back to what our fans can do is look, we're in this together. What can we do to help you? We're going to roll out some initiatives, hopefully when we get back, but stay with us, stay strong, stay safe, stay healthy. And we cannot wait to see you when we get back up and running.
Absolutely. And final question for you too, that message to our fans that are sitting back home there. What message do you have for all of our Troy students, our fans, alumni, season ticket holders, and especially our student athletes? What message do you have in closing to them?
That we love you. Stay with us, stay healthy, do what you need to, listen to, shelter in place as well as quarantine yourself. But just know that we're working hard. The university is working hard. The athletic department. We will emerge stronger from this and possibly even better. But know that we're right there with you. And if you want to reach out to any of us, obviously we're answering emails and phone calls and coaches and student athletes as part of this. But I will tell you this. I think I've said it from the day I was hired. It's a great day to be a Troy Trojan. And every day, even during this crisis, I felt this way. It's an honor and a privilege to be able to wear this tee. And it really comes with the duty and respect that our student athletes provide to us as well as our fans. And so, again, thank you and stay safe.
Well, thank you, Brett. And fans, thank you for tuning in and joining us today. Stay up to date with all the information for Troy Athletics by visiting TroyTrojans.com, or also visit any of our social media channels. Thank you again. Stay safe, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Go Trojans.